Hey guys, FilmFanPete here with another Blu-ray DVD update. Before I do that, guys, I just want to take a moment to thank you all for the incredible amount of support you've shown to my channel. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Now, the first Blu-ray I wanted to talk about today was Drive, starring Ryan Gosling, Carey Mulligan, Albert Brooks. I hope you enjoyed that, Pete. I didn't really want to drag it out too much. How accurate it was, I really don't know. That's up to you to decide. But yeah. But anyway, today I've decided to enter FilmFanPete's latest giveaway contest. He's giving away, for first place, he's giving away 3 Alfred Hitchcock Blu-ray titles, and for second place, he's giving away 2 Woody Allen Blu-ray titles. And since I haven't seen any Woody Allen films, I want to talk about my favorite Alfred Hitchcock film. Actually, I'm going to talk about a few different Alfred Hitchcock films. Now, I really think my favorite Alfred Hitchcock film is probably Rear Window with James Stewart and Grace Kelly. And that film, I think the reason I love that film is not only because of how suspenseful it is and because much of the action takes place with James Stewart just looking out at all his neighbors with the camera and stuff, but it's just the mystery, the kind of murder mystery story that really unravels there. You know, a lot of shots in this film, you know, where you're panning over the apartment building with the camera, seeing all this activity going on in these, you know, through the windows. And the incredible thing about it is that it's all in real time because none of it's cut. So I just think it's incredible that that all these different people, you know, I guess they have their cues and whatnot, all the actors. So as the camera was passing through the windows, you know, we see all this stuff going on. And it really just had to be seamless for it to work because, again, it was all done in one shot, just one sweeping shot, and I thought that was really cool. If you understand a word I just said, I really applaud you on that. But yeah, Rear Window, I just really loved the suspense of that film. I loved the little story of that film, and then I liked the personal stuff between James Stewart and Grace Kelly, their relationship as well. Now, I believe my second favorite Alfred Hitchcock film would probably have to be Psycho. And Psycho is also probably my second favorite horror movie of all time after Misery with Kathy Bates and James Caan. But anyway, yeah, Psycho. This is a film that I just find absolutely riveting. And the psychological aspects of it are fascinating. You know, when you really get to the end and you find out the stuff you find out and just the reasoning behind it and all this stuff, it just really kind of blows your mind. I mean, it blew my mind when I saw it, and it still does. And yeah, Anthony Perkins in this film, unbelievable performance. I don't know if he was nominated for an Oscar or not, and especially on Blu-ray, I just love the black and white look of this film. It's just very clean, very crisp, and you know, it has that classic feel to it. And I have to talk about the score. The score for this film, you know, not just the dun 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 dun. You know, that's very famous from the shower scene, but I'm talking about the opening titles. Sorry about that, guys. I got carried away there, but yeah, Psycho, just everything about this film I think is brilliant. Now, my third favorite Alfred Hitchcock film out of what I've seen is probably North by Northwest. That film is probably Alfred Hitchcock's, probably the least disturbing film of his that I've seen, maybe. You know, Rear Window's not really disturbing so much, but I don't know, North by Northwest, you know, that one is really just kind of a fun adventure movie. You know, I think it probably had a lot of influence on the Sean Connery Bond films that would come later on in the 60s. But yeah, this one definitely kind of has a Bond feel, but it kind of has a more sophisticated feel at the same time. And it's just a very interesting story because you're really right there with Cary Grant's character as he's just thrust into this situation. You know, he's accused of being a spy, and just throughout this whole adventure, you're just really right there with this character. And he meets Eva Marie Saint, excuse me, who is absolutely gorgeous in this film. And just the dynamics between them and the dialogue they exchange. I mean, it's really kind of, I wouldn't have thought that a film made in this time period would have a lot of the kind of dialogue it has in this film. It's really, really suggestive, I would say. But yeah, North by Northwest, very fun movie. Actually, to be honest, I don't know if I can really say it's my third favorite. Kind of the first three that I've talked about, Rear Window, Psycho, and North by Northwest, I love all those films so much that they're really kind of, they're all different. They're all very different from each other, but they're all kind of right intermingled with each other. But yeah, this is a great film. Great score, once again, by Bernard Herrmann. And then the last Alfred Hitchcock film I want to talk about is probably the first one I ever saw, I think. And it's definitely the one that kind of, I think a lot of people are divided over it. Even though it's considered to be a classic and a masterpiece, a lot of people are divided about it. And even when I first saw it, I wasn't really sure how I felt about it because it was just so different from anything I'd ever seen. And that's Vertigo, which stars James Stewart and Kim Novak. And this film is, you know, I don't really want to get into the story too much, but it's just incredibly suspenseful and incredibly chilling. I really get chills every time I watch this movie. Now, I do think Vertigo is a masterpiece, and I really respect it. You know, I respect Alfred Hitchcock, his vision with the film, and just everything about the film. I mean, I think it's directed magnificently. However, I'm just not sure if I enjoy watching it as much as I enjoy watching the previous three films I talked about. It's definitely a story that it definitely messes around with your emotions a lot, which is great. But I don't know. It's just even James Stewart's character. I can understand a lot of the stuff he does in this film, but it's really kind of a story about obsession, and it's kind of disturbing to say the least. But I kind of mean that in a good way too, because it's a pleasantly disturbing story, if that makes any sense. Now, one thing I must say is that I love the colors. When Hitchcock's films are in color, I think they look magnificent. They just have that old classic Technicolor look to them that is just really vibrant, and just all these different rich colors that he uses. Really beautiful to look at. I bet this film would look amazing on Blu-ray. It's not out on Blu-ray yet, but I would probably pick it up. And yeah. The score for this film, the score of this film is amazing. One of the best Hitchcock film scores that I've heard, and just from the opening titles alone, you know, it just has a very ominous score to it. The first time I heard that score, I literally shuddered. I mean, I'm pretty sure I did. It just gave me chills, and I was like, what in the world am I in store for? And yeah, anyway, on to Vertigo. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but Vertigo, I know I've said Rear Window is my favorite Hitchcock film, and all these other films ahead of it, but there are moments where I feel like Vertigo is my favorite just from the sheer direction of it, and then there are moments where I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I don't know how much I enjoy watching it, but every time I watch this film, I am engrossed in the story. The movie is kind of slow-paced, but all the slow-paced stuff really is riveting, and it's really it really kind of supports the story. It gives it a very ominous feel. You really don't know what's coming, and you know, there are moments where it's like every time I watch this film, I'm really admiring the direction, and I'm admiring the tension and the setup and just everything about it. So in a lot of ways, even if it's not my favorite Hitchcock film, I think it might be his most brilliantly directed film. And yeah, I mean, it's great. There's one scene in the film that, to me, is the most chilling scene in the film. It just gives me shudders every time I see it. It's a scene where, well, Jim Stewart, he was at Kim Novak's character, he was at her apartment, and he leaves. He walks out the front door, and the camera is positioned behind Kim Novak's head. So you've seen the back of her head as she's watching the door close. And then suddenly, she turns her head around very slowly, and she's looking directly into the camera lens, like I am right now, just looking directly into the lens. Now that gives me chills for a few reasons. One of them is that you rarely ever see that in movies. Unless characters are breaking the fourth wall, you never really see people look directly into the camera, because a lot of directors don't want their actors to do that because that might ruin the illusion. Not the case in Vertigo. In Vertigo, it's like she's staring directly into your soul, and you see a flashback after that, and you get what's on her character's mind, and it's just riveting. and my eyes are just glued to the screen during that scene, and it really gives me chills. Like, it's like she's right there next to me, across from me, just looking straight into my eyes, looking straight into my soul. And yeah, that's probably the most riveting scene, not only in that film, but almost out of any film I've ever seen. Like I was saying about Vertigo, it's really the film that I think a lot of people are mixed about. A lot of people love it, but a lot of people are kind of on the fence, like, I didn't really like that film that much. And I think I love the film, but it is a movie that I really have to be in the mood for to watch. Because it's just so different from anything that you ever see. Anyway, sorry about the length for this video, Pete. You know, it's really just kind of hard to sum up Hitchcock's films in a short, coherent way, because I know I was all over the place with this review in terms of my speaking. But anyway, hope that gives you an idea about how I feel about Hitchcock films. And anyway, good luck to everybody else in the contest. And this is Lance from Cinematic Galaxy signing off.